I'm David Robertson. This is St. Peter's Church, just off the Perth Road. I am the minister of the church. I'm also a chaplain at the university, and the church belongs to the Free Church of Scotland. It's an evangelical Presbyterian church. Okay, the size of the church is we get about 100 people on a Sunday. We have about 150 people associated with us. Families, it's difficult to say. We don't have that many families. We're getting more because our optimum age group is the 20 to 40 year olds, and they get married, the ones that stay, and some get married anyway. So we're getting more families. What form does it take? We have services at 11 o'clock and at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, where the main emphasis is on the teaching of the Bible. The worship would be a bit unusual for many people. It's a cappella singing, for example, but despite that, I would say it's relatively informal. What I try and do is, in each year, I try and teach from the 5 different genres of scripture: poetry, history, gospel, the epistles, and the prophets. And at the moment, in the evenings, we're looking at Deuteronomy, and in the mornings, we've been doing the story of Joseph. We're just about to start a series on Colossians. So we've had Joseph in the mornings, and in the evenings, Deuteronomy. And occasionally, we interrupt with different things because people ask particular questions and so on. Yeah, we have pastoral groups, fellowship groups, house groups really. We have 5 of those that meet throughout the city, 3 of them in the West End. All of them have students in them. We have a children's club on a Monday, which is mainly children in the local area. It's an outreach thing, not children who are coming to the church. And we have a youth club on a Thursday. The pastoral groups meet, or fellowship groups meet fortnightly, so every other fortnight on a Wednesday we have a prayer meeting. There's a men's group, there's lots of different stuff goes on. Well, initially when I came here, there was only 7 people in the church, and 4 of them left when I came, so people who started coming after that were students, largely. So students have been integral to the growth of this church. I think what we find is that students are very important, not because they fill pews, because that comes and goes. Churches go in fashion. We find that students offer a life and a variety and difference of experience that is very, very helpful to the church. Some students come as passengers, some come because they're curious, some come occasionally. But the ones who really get involved in the church have been absolutely invaluable. Yeah, well, particularly students. I mean, my first argument would be that one, it's biblical. But I think there are reasons why the Lord wants us to do that. I think the danger is if you're a student, then I think the CU is wonderful, and I fully would support the CU. I've been involved with CUs since I was about 19 years old myself, and I speak at CUs a lot throughout Scotland. But I think it's a mistake if people think, well, I'm just going to hang around with fellow students, people my own age and so on. So I think the church is good because you get to meet people of different ages, different experiences, different backgrounds. That's hugely important. I think in terms of the teaching as well, it's very, very important to have that consistency in terms of teaching. And I also think for students, instead of thinking, hey, what can I get out of this? It's a really good thing to think, well, what can I give? I know a lot of students think, hey, well, I'm at university, and when I'm finished, 3-4 years' time, I'll then be able to get involved in the church. But to put it bluntly, you may not be around in 3 or 4 years' time. And you will find in 3 or 4 years' time, you're actually far busier than you are now. So as a student, it's a great time to get involved in a church, and you can make an enormous difference. I think also, you get so much more out of it if you're involved. Now, that doesn't mean it's exclusive. It doesn't mean you don't go to any other church or you're not involved with other people. I think if you're securely rooted individual congregation, you should be able to be involved with others all the more. Yeah, I mean, I want to encourage those who are freshers to continue coming to the CU, because I think it's really, really important. I think the CU is, if you like, the church's arm on campus, and I guess I want to encourage both. We as a church want to be involved with the CU, and I want to encourage students to be involved with ourselves and with other churches as well. I think it's a good idea to visit different churches to see where you feel that you can have the most to contribute. But when you do make your mind up as regards that, then I think it's a good idea to commit to that church. Visit others definitely, but to commit to it and just to go with the attitude, what can I give, what can I do, rather than the attitude, what are you going to give me? And I'm sure that the Lord will bless that.
That's
okay?
good.
And sends alarm bells.